All right, guys, welcome to the lunch break here at FNGO Thursday, October 9th. We're almost there. The weekend is almost here, guys. I can feel it. We're that close. Appreciate you guys joining us today and gals as well. Appreciate you joining us today and got a pretty good little discussion we're going to have today. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope you're not working too hard, and I hope you're looking forward to this little break. Paul, I see you already there in the comments section with the Ultimate Angler question. The only thing I can find so far is if you go to ultimateangler.org, they've got the weigh-in there. I think they're going to do the weigh-in live. But as far as how to watch it, don't know yet, buddy. I hope somebody will figure it out for us. What's up, Justin? Let's take care of some business, guys. Of course, listen, if you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. We're 20 away from 9,000. I'm hoping to get that by the live well tonight. We get the final 20, and then we can move on to 10, right? It seems like you get so close, those last 20, 30 take forever. But we grow a little every day, and we like it that way. I mean, I wish I had 1 million followers, but I'd rather have 9,000 crazy people that actually pay attention to what we do than 1 million that just gave us a follow and never come back. So all you guys that are here every day, you hear me talking about it, appreciate you guys. It means so much that you guys join us. Toys for Tots, December 6th out of Laurel Park. Big Shanty Bass Masters and FNGO are putting this tournament on to help the Pickens County and Hall County Toys for Tots. $5,000 first place prize, guaranteed by sponsors. $80 entry fee, 60 to the pot, 20 to the big fish. The number of places we'll pay down depends upon the amount of boats signed up. Last year we had 98. I want to break triple digits this year. If you drive a Phoenix, you got a chance if you win the tournament, along with a few other details, to get the Phoenix contingency. Blast off in the order that you signed up. And it is starting to fill up, guys. So if you want to take part in it, definitely, and you want to early blast off, you want to be one of those first ones out and down the lake, go ahead, contact me, Danny, 678-283-6700. I'll get you signed up over the phone, or you can come into the shop and do it like that. Also, too, before we get started talking, I'll go ahead and remind everyone about Fishing for Matthew tournament, November 1st on Lake Blue Ridge out of the Blue Ridge Marina Ramp. It's a $100 entry fee, 2-person teams, 5-fish limit, 12-inch minimum. There's going to be raffles, hamburger plates, hosted by the Fishers of Hope for a young man named Matthew. If you want more information, call Tony Watkins at 706-897-7557 or Jimmy, 706-851-6565. So, got that out of the way. Got a great live well for you guys tonight. We're going to be talking crankbaits. And I named it Cranking and Yanking because we know he's going to be there. We're going to talk crankbaits tonight. We're not going to talk about it right now because I got to save that for tonight. But what crankbaits you guys like, what we're throwing them on, how we're throwing them, and we need your guys' participation in that as well because everybody does a little bit different, right? And, the way we roll, you guys are the show anyway, so we need all of you to come. And before Far Dog gets on here and tells you guys, it's been a long morning, tells all of you, go ahead and give us a thumbs up if you're watching on YouTube. It does help the algorithm and gets us out to more people. What's up, Mr. Danny, over there on TikTok? But it's going to be a great show. Now, let's see. 19 to go. Just subscribe my mom. Bad company. Thank you. Hey, listen. Aunts, uncles, hell, I don't care. Get them all on there. Now, the topic, and you guys are jumping into it already, is the Ultimate Angler tournament going on Lake Guntersville right now. And we all know about the $500,000 first place prize. No forward-facing sonar. And the contestants is a culmination of qualifiers from the NPFL, MLF, the elites, college. I believe if you won some BFL style, those level tournaments as well. And so it pairs amateurs and pros together, 200 boats, and it's a big event. But like you guys, it's not getting the attention that I think a tournament of this caliber deserves. Now, unlike other all-star style events, first of all, you got to qualify for it. But it is the best of the best guys out there. It is the names in fishing and professional fishing are there. Georgia's back at it again. Well, there you go. You keep going on it. You keep going. Do you? But like Paul B said right there at the beginning, there's nowhere to watch it. Very hard to keep up with who's qualifying or who's making the cuts. And again, now we got to understand this is the first year. And I'm sure there are kinks that will be worked out. And yeah, Fred, it was pretty funny, wasn't it? So there's a long way for them to go. But my question to you guys is this. With your time and your views, yeah, it is a new kid in the sandbox. With your time and your views, would you rather watch something like this as opposed to an Elite Series tournament, MPFL tournament, MLF? Comparing these one-off big tournaments, kind of like the Touring Pros when they did it up here on Lake Lanier. Do those pique your interest more? Especially with fishing, because like, I'll be honest, I don't watch all-star games. I definitely don't watch an NBA all-star game. Major League Baseball, maybe a little bit. Hell, nobody. They don't even do the Pro Bowl like they used to. So this is different, but it is an all-star tournament. I like this because it's like a Super Bowl. It's the best of the best from all the circuits, for sure. Yeah, Aaron Young, absolutely. Hey, the Expo, and they got an Expo as well. But we would love to have the information, right? I would rather watch this for sure, but not being able to makes me not give a crap about it, to be honest. And so that's kind of an issue. Now, again, we got to keep in mind it is the first one they've done. But I do understand that. I know there's some guys over here that I would love to know where they're at. From the pros that I know to, let's just say, Brooks Anderson, sponsor of our show, Brooks Anderson Fishing. I know he's there. And guys like that. And I find it interesting because I want to know how these guys stack up against some of the top-level pros. And no forward-facing sonar does throw a twist into it all, for sure. Danny, did you get grounded from the Ultimate Angler from your Facebook post yesterday? No, I did not. Boys, I'm the king in the land of Dan. All right? Let's get that straight. And the only reason I'm saying that's because my wife ain't watching right now. No, man. My wife is she's a good sport. I just realized you have a YouTube channel. I'm so slow to the game. And actually, the YouTube channel, George, is a better experience, especially when we do our Tuesday and Thursday night shows, because the lunch break I just do by myself, one camera, and then a TikTok camera that sits separately. But if you watch Tonight at 8, we got a guy in there with a switcher. We got camera. I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We don't use them all. 8, 9 cameras. So it's definitely better. But hey, go ahead and subscribe. I got to get to 9,000. Head on over there. Pro and co really don't care. I'd like to see team tournaments. I got you, Jeremy, and everybody has their own for sure. This is what everybody's been asking for anyways, Clash of the Titans, so to speak. Absolutely. Headed to lunch, JT Turner. Go ahead and get you some lunch. Aaron said, I just spent 10 minutes trying to get the comments to work, only to realize I was on Facebook. Well, I got you. I read it. I saw it. But if we sit here and we think about it, it is exactly what Fred Ashcraft just said. We'd like to see this kind of group of anglers together. And it's got to be good for the local area, for the economy of the local area, because there is an expo that goes along with this. These people have been there all week. They had a golf tournament. They've been practice rounds, and now they're fishing. And then you're going to have people like us that are going to be going up there to watch. I'm not going to get to go on Friday now, but I am going up Saturday. Had a little change of plans last moment. Let's see. Something came across my Facebook feed about a senior tour, like we mentioned a few months back. Well, I mean, even with that, it all depends on who's fishing it, right? Now, Jeremy, you bring up a good point, and I'll get to your comment, a couple comments up above it. This is where boaters live streaming from start to finish would be good. to be honest, I hadn't looked into that. But as I was setting the show up and Paul B was here early, he was talking about there's nowhere to look. And so I said, you know what? I haven't even tried. So I was going to go to some of the anglers that I know and pull up their YouTube accounts. And the ones that I know, they're not live streaming it. But for sure, that would make it more interesting. Because I don't think the Ultimate Angler is doing this for TV dollars, of course, because obvious reasons. Pros versus Joes type of show. Absolutely. You're getting that. You're getting the top level. But we always argue, too, what's the best? MLF, the elites? Do you like the NPFL? As of yesterday, remember the Southern Baptists versus the non-denominationals versus the Pentecostals. You know what I'm saying? And what would be interesting, too, is I know during in the electric-only world that they have this kind of state championship. It's not really high on my radar, but to a lot of people it is. But not only can you and your partner go and try to fish for the state championship, so to speak, but also they have a club championship as well. It would be very interesting at the end of this to see of all the anglers, I'm sure it's not split evenly, but do the MLF anglers finish higher on average than the elites, than do the NPFLs, or vice versa, however you want to say it? What's up, Far Dog? Far Dog, I already told everybody today, go ahead and hit the like button. So you monitor that. If they're not listening to me, you get on to them. But do you like it? Would you rather see more of these? And I think a lot of you guys do. Is the TEC still a thing? Yeah, that's kind of what I'm talking about. I don't call it what it is. Call it what it is. But yes, it's still going on. I'm not high on the event, but a lot of guys I know are. We need to hire someone to put fish on the end of Emil's line so he can win. Tyler said, I don't think that's how it works, but maybe. But you're right, Paul B. It is kind of frustrating that we don't know, right? And I forget what the final cut is of those that'll be fishing Saturday. But I would have loved had my schedule worked out to go over there and see what, Brooks and the guys that are doing, how they're doing, the guys that I like, that I follow, how they're doing. It will be very interesting to see who all wins it if they are by design, not design, if they're considered scopers. You know what I'm saying? If they're young, if it's an old guy, there's a lot of variables. 50, Dave Aldridge said there'll be 50 the final day. The final day. Also, too, they got the Big Bass Bash going on there as well, same time. I think, Messick, the weigh-in must be live because if you go to ultimateangler.org and pull it up, there's the stage right there, and there's a camera on it, and it does say live feed. It's got a little music playing, but they're not going to be weighing in no time soon. Well, I mean, maybe by the time I quit pontificating, they might be. But I do like the idea. Now, here's one thing that made it possible, because the state of Alabama puts money into their outdoors, right? They put a lot of money into this prize pool. And so when you put $500,000 on the line for first place, it will attract a lot of anglers. It becomes far more interesting. So kudos to the state of Alabama for doing that. I don't know of a day or a time here soon where I would be shocked if I saw the state of Georgia put $500,000 into a singular tournament. And I think state of Alabama might even put more than that. I'm not 100% sure of that. I would be shocked if Georgia would step up and put that kind of money into a bass fishing tournament. It's not on their radar. But coming from Alabama, it's not really that surprising, is it? Paul B says North Carolina would never do it. Would never do it. Hopefully this is a yearly thing. It would be nice to see it move around to different lakes each year throughout Alabama. Yeah, Gunnersville's just the epicenter, right, though? I mean, if you're going to pick a lake in Alabama to start with, for sure it's going to be Gunnersville. My buddy that lives on Logan Martin said there'll be 1,000 boats on Gunnersville with both tournaments. So 200 with the Ultimate Angler, and then I've heard 500 or 600 with the Big Bass Bash. And then you got the guy that just decided he's got Saturday off. Looks at the boy and says, "Hey, let's go fishing." Now that's the guy that's going to pull into a boat ramp somewhere though and go like, "Whoa, what's going on?" They had no idea it's happening. How you don't know, I don't know, but it happens. I even see that on like a tournament, like take Hickory Log electric only tournaments where they got a small ramp. You bring a 20 boat club in there, and 8 by 25 parking spaces, and some of them are taken up by guys that drove there to fish with their partner. And then you got the poor sap pulls in there, and he's like, "Good Lord, there's nowhere to park." It happens. But could you imagine? Could you imagine just that guy? I'm just going to go fishing, honey. I think I'm going to take Saturday and go fishing. Worked hard at work all week. Might throw the dog on the boat. Speaking of which, does anybody want a dog? I'll tell you that story in a second. South Carolina ain't doing it. We're all broke here. Bama KO for sure. Bama knows the resources they have and the revenue they can generate from it. Now, Patricia, that is a good question. I do not know the answer. Todd Clean, I'll get to that second. Todd Clean says, "Yeah, I'll go to Wheeler about 8 minutes from the house tomorrow after the Bama game." Hey, yeah, dude. Who you guys play tomorrow? Who's Bama got tomorrow? I know Georgia's got what, Auburn? What's up, Kendra? How you doing, hon? Can they fish both tournaments? Can you be a member of the fishing the Ultimate Angler and fish the Big Bass Bash? I probably would say no. Y'all got Missouri. Y'all will rock them. Y'all should rock Missouri. Bama has Missouri. Yeah. Roll Tide. Missouri does not belong in the SEC. I'm just saying. All good with the O-ring? Yeah, the O-ring is good today, babe. 100%. The O-ring is good. Things are tight. I got a smile on my face, right? Justin wants to know if the red man. So no, I didn't try that yet. So real quick, we'll get back. I got dogs, 2 dogs that all of a sudden started eating their crap. I ain't figured it out. We've tried everything except the red man. It's my daughter's dogs, but she pays for these things. Missouri being an SEC feels like that awkward relative that you have at family get-togethers. Lord knows I got a bunch of them, Todd. I got cousins that swapped wives. No lie. I went to Christmas. They have Christmas at my mom's house. I walked down there, one side of my family. I walked down there, and I'm looking, sitting on the couch. I'm the oldest grandson on that side of the family. Sitting on the couch, just looking. And here comes my cousin, and he's with my other cousin's wife. And I'm like, okay, well, whatever. I didn't think nothing about it. And then about 30 minutes later, the other cousin shows up with the other cousin's wife. And I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, at this point, I'm like, and we got a walking, talking Jerry Springer show going on right here. And so I just kind of played cool the whole night, didn't say nothing. Looked at my mama, and she goes, "Yes, I know." I said, "Ain't nobody going to tell me that shit. Nobody's going to warn me about that." Now, listen, Dane, Missouri being ranked 13th is about like Tech being ranked what they are. I love Georgia Tech. I don't think they're the 13th best team in the country or whatever they are. And I damn sure know Missouri ain't the 14th best team. It's because all the other big boys are kind of a little off. We know that. Yeah, Jerry. At our family get-togethers, we have the lie detector test. We do those for fun. Missouri might have the best tailback. I don't care. I screen recorded you saying Roll Tide. Don't do that. Don't do that. But still, yeah, my cousin and my aunt are married. Shout out. Damn. But see, listen, it's in every family. I'm just saying I got a family tree that goes up, and one side of my family tree spreads on out. And it's nice, big oak tree, everything. And the other one, it's like one of them Bradford pears after you trim one of them. It's all intertwined and whatever. Intertangled. It is some hillbilly stuff. It is, and I don't eat there a lot. I don't eat the food because I know who cooked it. And if my mama cooked it, I eat it. I ate it. But yeah, and I got a big family though. The youngest aunt on that side is 2 years older than me. I went to high school with my aunt. It's the South. Welcome to the South, right? But yeah, swapped wives. Nobody told me at all. And so, you're left to fend with your own thoughts during this whole thing. And you're just kind of watching like, I'm trying to put two and two together. And they're holding hands and arms around each other. And I was like, I need another beer. You are not the father. Thank God for that. I'm not the father. 100%. Do not screenshot that. My wife's going to go, what do you mean you're not the father? Honey, you got to listen to the whole story. What's up, guys? Caught a 428 largemouth on a chatterbait on Allatoona right at daybreak. A bunch of 2-pound spots. There you go. Chatterbait working. But still, I don't know that you can do that. Slick, if you're still watching over there on TikTok, if you are fishing the Ultimate Angler, can you fish in the Big Bass Bash at the same time? He may still be there. I don't know. He swings by. I see him every once in a while. He's up and he goes, it's just Danny, and he goes to the next one. He's scrolling. Oh, Slick's scrolling. Sounds like that movie Deliverance must still be going around in Georgia. Dude, you're from South Carolina. You don't need to be speaking much. We know how that is. All right, so Dave Aldridge says no. No, you cannot. So there's your answer, Patricia Leanshaw. But this entire tournament, back to the tournament itself, it's going to be interesting. Guntersville is one of those lakes that you absolutely can put a bag together without forward-facing sonar. We could see Texas doing the Ultimate Angler Tournament. I could see Texas doing that. In the kayak world, we call that double dipping, and it's allowed when you can fish in 2 events at once. Yeah. But Dave says in this one, you can't. But my whole thing with this entire tournament, though, is just why is it not blowing up on the radar in the world of the bass fishing world? Now, we know the elites. We know Bassmaster's not going to be giving it love. We know ML. They're probably none of them are giving it love. I mean, I could see the dudes over at MPFL going, yeah, hell, go fish it. Because they're much more like us, from what I know. I don't know all the MLF guys, you know that. I know what people think about Bassmasters Corp. But I just don't understand why it's not on everybody's radar. Now, Paul, we talked about this the other day. If there's going to be 800 to 1,000 boats in those 2 tournaments, what is the over-under on fights? Well, that's what we mentioned the other day. Like, how many times is a guy in the Ultimate Angler going to pull up to a grass mat, something he's going to punch it, and you got another guy coming in that's fishing a big bass? I'm sure it's going to happen. Todd Clem said, would be nice if the big tournaments added some F1 bass back to our lakes in Alabama. Well, if you look into the Ultimate Angler, if you go to their page and all that, it's hold on a second. I'm going to pull it up. Who puts that on? Let's see. It is, that's the live stream right there. Unified Pros. And Unified Pros is, let me read this for you, pull it up. About Unified Pros, their aim is to elevate the love for outdoor competition while raising awareness for our fisheries, habitat, and continued conservation. We create transformative experiences that make a lasting impact on individuals, communities, professional athletes, and the sport of bass fishing. It is a 501c nonprofit charity. It's an alliance of professional athletes and advocates for outdoor conservation and competition. So my thinking with that is, it's going to be something that's going to happen a lot more often, I think. But fights are going to happen for sure. Or not fights. Let's say not fights. Let's say disagreements. Got to happen. The community holes are going to have boats on them. I don't think Big Bass is open to pros anyway. Yeah, it is. Ricky Moore? Yeah, he qualified. In fact, I tell you what, hold on a second. Let me do this. Qualified anglers. I'm just going to read you a list. Buddy Gross, Fletcher Shyrock, Hunter Shyrock, Andy Montgomery, Mark Daniels. Let's see, I'm just going down. Robert G's fishing it. There's an elite guy too. You know, Ott Defoe's in it. Keith Carson, Swindle's in it. Kyle Welcher. And it tells you how they qualified. Kyle Welcher qualified because he won the 2025 Lawrence Bassmaster Elite at Lake 10 Killer. The guy above him, Nolan Spencer, won the ABT on Pickwick Lake. Ray Trudeau, whoever this gentleman is, he qualified by fishing through Fishing Chaos's virtual tournament. Swindle qualified through the NPFL on Lake Eufaula. Let me go on down the line. I'll scroll. I saw Dean Rojas there. I'm just trying to say Dustin Connell is fishing it. B&W Trailer hitches heavy hitters on Smith Mountain Lake. That's how he qualified. Let's see. I'm just going to go down there. Hank Cherry, he qualified because Bass Division points leader, top 15. Justin Lucas was a BBT Angler of the Year points, top 15. So if you were BBT and you were top 15 in points, you qualified. I'm just trying to find some. Let's see. Asa Putnam was the 2025 Strike King Bassmaster College Series at Bugs Island presented by Bass Pro Shop. I think Brooks Anderson qualified by winning the BFL on Lanier last year. And I can't see your comments right now because I got another screen pulled up. Emil Wagner qualified from the MLF Tackle Warehouse Invitationals on Lake Hartwell. Let's see. I mean, there's some names. Keith Poche, Tackle Warehouse Invitationals, Kissimmee Chain of Lakes. And I'm passing a bunch of them. I'm just hitting the thing. That Laker Howell boy who you guys, hey, he's one to pay attention to. Bassmaster Open, Clarks Hill Reservoir. Will Davis Jr., Mercury Bass Nation Championship. Drew Cook, NPFL, Lake of the Ozarks. So, yeah, there was a way to qualify for these. I'll pop back up here to you guys because I know you guys have commented. Let's see. I'm way behind now. In fact, I'm just going to go ahead and swing all the way down the bottom because I'm so far behind just doing that on the comments. But, yeah, pros are there. And so that's what I'm saying is like they had a way to qualify. Guys qualified for it. They filled it up. There's just some freaking hammers. Oh, that's Ultimate Angler. Oh, I thought that's what you asked for, Ricky. I'm sorry. Did I misunderstand your – or are you talking about the big bass? You might have been talking about that. If that's it, buddy, I apologize. I read it wrong. I'm trying to keep up with comments. And so if that's what you were talking about, then you're probably right. Bottom Line Outdoors, how can a bait company copy a bait and not have issues with it? Well, they do in some instances. Some instances they don't. Some instances the patent runs out. Some instances the patent's not obtained. And sometimes they just do it, right? Because if you got a patent, and I don't know exactly how the patent process works, but let's say you designed a special worm that's got 15 specifically styled ribs that do on it for a certain use. You'll see a company take that same bait and only have 10 of those ribs or something. It's a different bait. According to them, it's stuff like that. And then again, they may be some backdoor deals where they pay. I mean, think about, you guys know I love Van Halen, but you also remember Tone Loc. It became a big thing with sampling because they took the song Jamie's Crying, the drum and the guitar from it, Tone Loc did, and he did Wild Thing. That drum beat at the beginning, that's Van Halen. So Van Halen sued, but then right after that, they kind of changed the way that you could sample it, pay. You have to pay separate. Maybe they pay them. I don't know exactly how it all works. It's way over my head. Holy Toledo. Listen to this comment, guys. Danny, this is Oklahoma. They just dumped 850,000 F1s in my home lake at 6 inches long. But the problem is, They dumped them all on one single boat ramp. Thanks, Oklahoma Wildlife. Clint's out there. Ultimate Angler was wild this morning. Booty load of boats on the lake, over 1,000 for sure. Yes, ribbed for her pleasure. Rapala's Bronco Bug is a ripoff of the OSP Do Live Crawl. I'm not familiar with the kayak cheetah that you're talking about right there, Patricia. Fill me in a little bit more. Yeah, Ricky Moore, he's talking about big bass. I apologize for that. Like I said, these comments come and go, and I see one, and oftentimes I miss the original comment for sure. Can they use forward-facing sonar in the Big Bass Bash tournament? I don't know, but I haven't seen nobody say that they can't. It could be. DC dropped a bag on Gunnersville. Yeah, for sure. So let me scroll on back down and catch up. $10,000 a day for big bass at the Ultimate Angler. Big Bass Bash has scope. There you go. So Clint's out there. But at the end of the day, like we're talking about it. Let me read this because we're back to patents. We're talking about the bait stuff. Captain J. Morgan. I don't agree with exact copies and copycats of copyrights, trademarks, and patents, but with baits, if you think about it, nothing is original. Every bait has characteristics off another existing bait. And I talked about that when we were going to ICAST. And when we came home, like there was nothing really new under the sun, right? It's kind of hard to reinvent the worm. And this year, the big thing was based upon, the dice baits and everything. You had Cincos and you had Ned heads and all that they just started sticking the little strands of silicone in there. And that's a new product, right? But it's based off something else. 1,000 boats is insane. I need to bring my boat loaded with Sakamatas and Chick-fil-A sandwiches. I can make billions. You know what? But hey, could you out there, Coleman? I don't know, maybe. Randy is going to say scopers shaved their legs now thanks to G-Man running scope on his tourney. Also, Merry Christmas to me. I finally got some Sakamatas. They're all right. I think they're like everything else, though. I think it's like a trend and a craze. Guy throwing the same old Zoom black plastic worm. Or as the old timers call them, rubber worms. Still catching fish. It'd be hot. It's kind of like when we had old Deshaun. Y'all remember spy bait? Remember spy bait 4 or 5 years ago? I got those spy bait. And then it disappeared. And then, of course, it's maybe taking a little return with guys like Deshaun. No, I don't. But at the end of the day, though, why are we not seeing more about it? Why are we not talking? I haven't heard one person up here, and this is because we didn't really talk about it ourselves. We're guilty of it. Well, who's going to win it? Who do you think will win it? Bolt swim baits. Do you have any Spro, E-Pop, and Aqua Herring? If so, I'll buy them all. I don't own my shelf, but I got, for my podcast guys, I got 2 big old boxes of product in for Spro. If they did send me any of that, we might have to make a deal. After I take a picture of it and say #Spro. With that many boats running up and down the lake, will that not mess up the vegetation? That would be a great question for Dave Aldridge if he's still in here, because he has a house on the lake in Gunnersville and he fishes it a lot. I don't know. Okay, so good. So Patricia says Jordan Lee. Tyler says Wheeler. But we haven't talked about who the favorites are. And I really haven't seen that many videos out there on YouTube or in social media discussing who the favorites are. I personally, as much as I like some of the pros that are fishing it and all that, I'd like to see a lower level guy come in and win. Right? I mean, the Cinderella story. I always think that's good. I would love it if Emil or DC wins. What's up, Rob? Hey, Rob, I'll call you back. I had people in front of me right up until the time I set this thing up. Now, Dave said on the vegetation question, some will be extra floating eelgrass over the next few weeks based upon that many boats on Gunnersville. But you are true, too, up there. Coleman says it's such a big lake that, it might not be much different from a really windy day. I don't know. An unknown local will win both tournaments. Now, I can see that. I think that would be, I think that would be just fantastic. Paul Marks, yeah, Tucker definitely has a good shot. It's strange how under the radar one of the biggest, if not the biggest bass tournament in history of the world is. So that's what I'm saying. Why are we not talking about it more? And I do think some of that is because the major tournament trails don't have anything to do with it. Their hands are not in it, so it's not getting that kind of exposure. And it's maybe a lot more of a grassroots type of issue. Will there be weights and fish? Come on, Tyler. Good Lord. Hope not. Hey, you know what, Tyler, were you here when we were talking about that the other night before the show? What would happen if you were fishing a tournament and you did everything by the book, but the guy that caught the fish before you, one of the fish you weighed in was caught by an individual before you? And let's say for some reason you were really going down deep and you had a 3/4 ounce bullet weight on with an old monster or something. And that weight was in his belly. And let's just say your tournament, they decide to cut open one out of every 20 fish. And you got chose, just like a lie detector test. And they cut yours open and it has an existing weight in it. What would they do? We talked about that the other night. You know what I'm saying? We did. I mean, what would happen? You didn't cheat. Surely they'd be able to tell, right? I would think so. You would just leave. You would just leave. You can't defend yourself no matter what you do in that situation. What's up, Kevin? Kevin had a good day on Lanier yesterday. Smacked their ass. Absolutely. Danny, the state of Alabama dropped the ball on not letting the organization like the Alabama Bass Trail not being paid to live broadcast this derby. Maybe. And now, that is why I run a camera, for sure. Tracy Coker says the big trails aren't talking about it because it doesn't line their pockets. I get it. Got two big ones right now caught. There you go. They definitely dropped the ball. I'd demand 14 lie detector tests if it was me. Polygraph for sure, says John G. But that situation could happen. You know what I'm saying? It could. Cheating goes around more than you know from all the circuits, says Rob. And Rob, we've talked about that on camera and off camera. Yeah, it does. That's a good point. We'll be interested to see the outcome and who might try to join the party next year, organizations and sponsors. But I mean, here's another question. Would they want it? If they pull off a successful tournament, and here's where you got to kind of you got to remember too, Unified Pros and all that, they are a nonprofit. Them being a nonprofit, does it change how you handle sponsors and stuff? Could you let Bassmaster come in next year and be a partner of it with a nonprofit and a for-profit company? I don't know. I mean, again, I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know. A lot of layers to that onion, right? A lot of layers to that onion. Kenway wants to know, what do we think about the BFLs? And Kenway, exactly like what specific question about the BFLs? If you have one, what are you talking about specifically? Because I'll throw that out there to my YouTube guys because I got a lot more on YouTube watching than on this side. So throw me out the new changes. Guys, what do you think about the new changes with the BFLs out there? Kenway on TikTok wants to know. Now back to the cheating thing. That's a great topic. If you gut hook a fish with a shaky head or a Ned rig, are you pulling the hook out or letting it stay in the fish's mouth until weigh-in? How would that rule fall? I don't know. Was it the ABA or the ABT that got in trouble for not paying anglers? That was the ABA. That was the ABA, and it kind of led to some other tournament trails popping off. Tyler says, aren't they making it half scope or something on the BFLs? Kenway, just because I don't have them in front of me, can you throw out a couple of examples of those changes so I can throw it out there at the guys? I know some will know, but some don't. Charles Noling also, I need to know about that also, fishing the BFLs next year. Give me a couple of the changes so we can throw them out there for the guys to talk about. Let's see. Yeah, Rob, John G says, out of all those that get caught cheating, I wonder how many out there that haven't been caught. And the question by you, Messick, is I'll tell you what I've done before. I've actually had that happen in an electric only tournament. Got one hooked deep on a pretty heavy shaky head. When I went up to the weigh-in, I told the guy that was weighing, I said, look, I got one that's hooked deep. They just let it slide. Again, we weren't fishing for $100,000. I think if you tell them, it's okay, at least on our level. The MLF just reduced BFL entry fees to $200 for a boater and $100 for a co for 2026. They're limiting forward-facing sonar to 3 hours of use per day. Yeah, I knew they were limiting it, but I didn't know. I couldn't remember the amount of time. And also, too, then I guess it's up to the co-angler and the boater and all to police themselves on that. I'm hyped about that price reduction, though. Well, the entry fees will make it more accessible. You guys know, I've said about it. I think the problem with BFL and co-anglers has always sucked for the co-angler when it comes to the use of forward-facing sonar. And I am not against it. Love the technology. I just think in the BFL, it is really tough for a co-angler, especially, and again, you got to realize the lakes we fish, like Lake Lanier, where a lot of guys are going to be offshore hitting the humps and, the timber and all that. And you I know it's common to say it got backboated. That's what we say. But, I mean, in those situations, I've always felt it really tough for a co-angler. And they're claiming, even with those reduced entry fees, they're claiming a 29% higher payout for 2026. I'm wondering if they're figuring, hey, if we can increase the amount of participants at a lesser price, we'll actually make more money. I don't know. Co-anglers weigh 3 fish as well. Didn't we talk about something about there was somebody where they were going to add the fish to the boater's weight? The boater's weight goes against the boater's weight, no matter against all other boaters' weight. And I heard somebody talking about adding the co-angler's fish to the boaters for the co-angler's side or something like that. I forget what the hell it was. It changes all, we hear, well, it doesn't change, but you hear all these different rules. It's hard to keep up with them. I think that I'd be really interested in seeing how they police the forward facing for 3 hours. Little side note, Brad Fuller was on Andrew Upshaw's podcast talking a lot about the NPFL currently and future business side. Definitely worth a listen. Captain Jay Morgan, I will tell you this. The day that they said that they were not allowing live scope anymore, I put a few things out on social media. Everybody knows the story, pretty much blasting them because of Trent and Will and all them. But in the conversation that I had with Brad Fuller the day after all that went down, it was very much a business talk. And it was very much their plan of attack, what they're trying to do, how they're differentiating themselves, where they want to go. They've got a vision. The NPFL's got a vision as to where they want to go. And I would venture to say, and I could be wrong, that compared to at least Bass, they're far more transparent. And they're out there. I mean, I even think Fuller will tell you with some of the mistakes that were made, either through the organization or even by him personally. Hey, you know what? Here it is. It happened. We deal with it. We keep going, but you're out there. It gets out there. You don't see that from right or wrong or in whatever. You don't see that with other organizations as far as being out there and being transparent. I think. Now, I could be wrong. What's up, 814? Should they limit all tournaments to 100 boats? Is there a pro? Is there something that? Is there a reason why limiting it to 100 boats would be good? I feel like the boater is chill. It'd be better time than silence. Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. I feel like I'm a chameleon. If I'm in a boat with somebody and they talk, I'm gonna talk all day. You guys know how I am. But if they're quiet, I can be quiet. Let me see now, Dan. I'm not sure exactly what you're replying to. Let me see. Did I make sure I didn't miss nothing like I did earlier? You put that wouldn't be fair at all if they wanted to start combining bags between boaters and co's. I would not be on board with that. And I'm not saying that was going to happen. I heard somebody mentioning something in the shop or something that they had heard. That's why I was threw it out there if you guys had heard that. So that definitely might have been 100% hearsay that a guy said in here. So, take it with a grain of salt. Okay, so Messick said, you're right, Danny. That's what I heard too. Almost like a team trail kind of deal. But it was only, this guy said it was only for co-angler weights. Or either 3 co-angler fish. There was some kind of combination. And again, I have not done the research into it. I don't know. I just remember that gentleman was in here talking about it like that. But with the combined weights, it would not be going against the boaters. It would still be co-anglers against co-anglers. So I really don't know why they would do that anyway. I have no clue. But that's what that guy was talking about. And you're right, Dan. I mean, it would be kind of, depending on how they set it up, that could be the most unfair thing in the world. Because then, let's say if they said, all right, 3 of your fish and your boater's 2 big fish. Well, then hell, a lot depends on the boater, right? If you got some Yahoo, and I've had guys from down here talk about guys that show up on a BFL in Lake Lanier from another state, and they're the co-angler, and they know Lake Lanier like the back of their hand, and no matter what they say to that boater, they don't listen. And the boater does like ass, the co-angler does like ass, and the whole time they're fishing, they're like, if you'd have just listened to me, we could have gone over to point X right there, and we could have popped the limit. You get what I'm saying? So, I mean, I've heard some horror stories about that. So you're probably right. Let's see. Okay, so Captain Morgan said, we're talking about back to Fuller. That's exactly how this convo was. Andrew didn't hold back questions and Brad didn't hold back answers. I learned a lot, even about scheduling challenges with other organizations in the new 30-day rule. Now, I mean, I've talked to, Benson about that, Big Al a little bit about that and everything. Yeah. The NPFL does, because you know what? They've got guys that fish the elites. They don't want to lose those guys. All right, this is direct. Let's see. Just posted the first reel. Okay, Clint just posted the first reel for the Ultimate Angler on Yamaha outboards. Keep an eye out for updates too. Some cool drone stuff. That's awesome. Most boaters are cool, but there are a few asshats there. Team tournaments are much more partner friendly for sure. I think the NPFL is here to stay. I do too. Of course, the growth may be slow and steady, but they will get better and better over the years. They get better each and every year, right? So Dan Parker put this. Let's see. Co-angling to me is like a leash your parents put on you as a kid. Interesting way to look at it right there, man. The 2026 season introduces a new streamlined payout structure that awards 20% of the field with 29% more money for a win and 25% more money for the last checks in every qualifier, while reducing the entry fees to $200 for boaters and $100 for co-anglers. That translates to a $4,000 top boater award based on a 100-boat field, scaling up to $7,750 with 200 boats. Interesting. Justin said we opt out of that in our club, and we now run teams. That was the one thing that I didn't like about, and I'm not bashing the ABA, but in the ABA, the co-angler was competing directly against the boaters. I don't know how that could ever be fair, and to me, it's not. You know what I'm saying? But I know there's some times when the co-anglers caught more than some of the boaters for sure, but I never really understood that. The only thing that would make sense on combined weight would be to stop backboating or give local anglers their shared time of fishing with the local guys' water. Yeah, I mean, there was a reason why that gentleman said it, Dane. I just do not remember it. Okay, so Ken says the Ultimate Angler weigh-in is streaming on GTO's Good Old Boys show at 2 p.m. That's Central Time for you dog fans out there. So 3 o'clock, go to GTO's Good Old Boys show. I did see, like, if you do pull up Unified Pros, or excuse me, you pull up the ultimateangler.org, there is a camera there. I don't know if they're going to be utilizing the same one. They're also returning to 6 regionals for 2026. Wonder how Blastoff was handled this morning. So, Clint, how was Blastoff handled? If you go into a tournament as a co with a mindset of learning, you will have a much more enjoyable experience, Jason Bryant fishing. And I've heard that from a bunch of people. Absolutely. A lot of guys go in there with that mindset, thinking, I just want to see what they're doing, where they're fishing, how we're doing it, learning something about the lake I've never fished. Yeah, exactly. Cletus said the Blastoff went smooth as butter. Smooth as butter. It's kind of interesting to me how bass guys are fishing the NPFL, but no MLF guys. I don't know. Interesting, because Tyler says, I wonder if MLF contracts prevent them from fishing the NPFL. That's a very good question. I don't know the answer to that. I don't know the answer to that. The hardest part is always getting marshals into the pros' boats on time. And they're up there talking in the ramp, right? Eating a biscuit. Let's see. To sign up in the BFLs as a co-angler, do you have to have a boater to sign up with, like you do the Federation tournaments? Don't believe that. I think something about co-links. Now, 814 says you'll have a lot of folks that already know, and it's just an easy foot in. The ABT has a team event. Also, the boater and co-fish weight is added together. Good old Alabama Bass Trail. Actually, I will tell you this. If you guys want the honest truth, I've watched the Alabama Bass Trails TV program far more than I've watched Basses over the last year and a half. Talked to a lot of elite guys this morning saying they probably won't fish the NPFL next year because of how all over the place the schedule is. A ton of travel if fishing the elites in the NPFL. Always a issue. That's interesting. Interesting. I'm trying to save money for a boat and wanting to be a co to learn. All my experience has been in small panfish boat or pontoon on shallow lake. Kayak now exclusively. Now you get that bass boat, it's going to change your life. Okay, Alabama Bass Nation. But I still have watched more Alabama Bass Trails TV show than I have even bass. I mean, that still holds true. What is your thoughts on LiveScope? Use it. Listen. You put LiveScope in front of me, I still ain't gonna catch fish. Not like it ain't gonna turn me into the next Kevin Van Dam. I've proven that already. I say use it. If you want to fish a trail that don't allow it, then go fish the old school way, and that's fine. I mean, I'm not here for or against it as far as in tournaments. I don't really care. But I mean, if you just as far as using it, use that joker. You'll learn a lot. If you link with a voter, you're guaranteed to fish, Clayton said. That's right. I knew it was something. You still got to work using it and have an idea to use it right, how to use it right. Zach Burge from MLF Bass fishes the NPFL. Okay, that's right, Milton. Georgia needs to have something comparable to the ABT. Tyler, maybe you're the one that sets it up, baby. Kay, Luke, and the gang are good people. I've talked to Kay a few times at events, and I got her number because I haven't hit her yet, but it's about business outside of, and not us doing business together. I'm going to pick her brain because that woman is very well connected, and she knows things. She knows things that I want to know, right? You guys, Far Dog says, if y'all will go on the thing and like this thing 50 times, I'll personally give away an original 3/4 ounce one knocker next Tuesday on the live show. Just go hit the like button, guys. Go hit the like button. I watched maybe an hour or two of bass in the last 2 years. We need an FNGO trail? No. You know why? I have guys every other month asking me to start a trail, even in the electric world on Lake Lanier and all that. And I will tell you right now, no, for two reasons. Number one, well, three reasons. Number one, I ain't got the damn time. Number two, I ain't got the damn time. And number three, when you are running a tournament trail, you get all the headaches, right? And sometimes good friends, when it comes to money, they can break up friendships. I don't know. But the biggest thing is I ain't got time. K runs as good a trail. K runs a good trail. Mike Terra runs a GBT, but it's not near as big as the ABT. Yeah, no, that's right. We have that, something like that. But I'm not, how about Bass prohibiting anglers from live streaming next year? Yeah, we talked about that a little bit yesterday because Trey Zaldane put it out there. I think that's more of a money grab. I think that's got to do every bit of they want them watching the Bass product and not somebody's YouTube channel. But I also think it shows into the insecurity of Bass, the organization. To me, I would be like, Zaldane's got a following. Let them watch that stuff. It's still promoting the Bass product, right? In a way, in a roundabout way. But then, of course, we got to talking yesterday about, possibly we talked about before the subscription things and all that. I think it shows extreme insecurity on Bass as an organization to prohibit anglers from live streaming to their social media platforms during a tournament. It's just insecurity. I mean, seriously. I know how much money can be made on YouTube. I got a YouTube channel. I know how many people are watching Zaldane's thing because I scroll through it during the day. I can tell you, while he is making a few dollars on it, it is not a windfall. It's not a windfall. Insecurity. No way I'd be a tournament director. Why doesn't Noe do a trail? They do a one tournament for the Expo. They used to have a trail, and I think if you ask Carl, it's because people bitch a lot. Miss K is so fine. I love that voice. Just saying. Have you ever met her, Fall Dog? Like, she's taller than me, and then she wears high heel shoes too. She's a very nice lady. She is very nice. But at the same time, and I ain't crossing her. I'm not crossing Miss K. I've heard you just don't want to. You want to keep that very respectable with that woman. She's very well respected in her community. And she likes those Busch Lights or Bud Lights or whatever it is. You can find it on that social media. YouTube channel content by the pros is more interesting than the Bass show. You don't have to hear the commentary nonstop. See, that's what I agree with. A couple of them guys been there a long time. They do their job. But it's like when you get any guest on, some guests are better than others, right? You guys were into comedy. Jackie was really good for you the other night. If you guys watch, when we first started this, some of the guests wasn't talking. I'm over here having to prod them a little bit. It happens. I think they could make the product a lot better. I think if they'd let me come announce if Bass would hire me to announce their tournaments, you guys would watch. We'd have some fun with it. But see, just like we were talking yesterday about the Christian denominations, Bass is that old Southern Baptist convention, right? Remember, that's what ChatGPT said. You don't go into a Southern Baptist church around here. A lot of them, you don't go in there wearing shorts and a hat. It's old school tradition like that. And so their TV show is kind of old school tradition, and some find it quite boring. I do. Side note, if anyone's planning on fishing tournaments next year, better have that boater safety certificate. Had some guys at the Ultimate Angler having to take the course before practice. Know the rules, right? Know the rules. I'll give you an amen on running a trail and the constant drama, even in the weeks leading up to and after a tournament. Dane, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And there's that one guy. In just about every club. Fortunate for us, we don't have that in the Electric Bass Opens. We don't really have any drama. But for the most part, there's that one guy, one or two teams. You ain't going to satisfy them for nothing. And the person that's got to listen to it is the guy that runs it. And they'll go into a damn tournament knowing that guy's going to come fuss about something or call them at home. And that's another reason. I like you guys. I like you guys a lot. During business hours, I'll talk to you. I'd rather you text me, but I'll talk to you. When I go home to the land of Dan, that stops. That's why a lot of you guys, if y'all call me in the evenings, I ain't answering you. That's my time. You run a tournament trail, you can get them phone calls. Do you know how many guys call me Sunday at 11:30? And y'all guys know I'm a heathen, but you know I go to church. They'll still call. Doesn't matter. Zaldane will probably leave and go elsewhere. I tell you what, old Trey, she ain't happy. She's not happy. Another good podcast this week was Luke Duncan's with Cook, Walters, and Palmer's, talking a lot about behind the scenes, including forward facing and info rules. Yeah, Ken Pruitt told me about that one. I went back and watched it. It's good stuff. I don't see how they can regulate what people are running on their own boats when they are paying to fish and are business owners themselves. Well, what they do is, though, they make it a rule to fish this trail. You got to abide by these rules. That's the easiest way. What's up, Gone Fishing with Ed? Zaldane might do better in the MLF format. I can see him being a numbers guy over a Giants guy, possibly. But, Fred, I think that's the biggest thing. I think, too, it's kind of like I would imagine, because technically you got Major League Baseball, right, consisting of X amount of number of independent companies, right, who then have contracts with independent, I would say they're independent contractors, the players, right? I don't know how it all works. But you can't just go take footage of a Major League Baseball game from another perspective, because it's right. You see that little thing right there. You got to get their permission, things like that. So I imagine Bass probably has something that does prohibit that on the legal side. Or if they don't, they will, because guys are doing it. It might be something that they don't, or that might be in that gray area right there. They might have something that other TV channels can't take, footage without permission and all that, but this might be in the gray area. And you got some guy sitting in the boardroom over there, and he's like, guys, we're losing money, and guys are doing this and that and all that. And they're like, well, whoa. We don't need to be losing any money on this. And my phone's running slow, TikTok. I'll try to get you guys back up. And you know how things go on in a boardroom. It's all about control, right? It's all about control. Come on, phone. There you go. Sorry, guys. Getting TikTok resumed here. For the few that are watching over on that side. Be done here in just a second. I got to update my phone, dude. I still got a button on my iPhone. It is so freaking slow. Almost there. There we go. Hit that resume button. Sorry about that. But yeah, but back to what we're talking about as far as running, there's no way in hell. It's honestly behind the scenes too. And while I love it, and it's a fantastic event, even doing something like the Toys for Tots can be a pain in the ass at times. But at least going into that, it's for a good cause. And so sometimes the headaches are okay. And then even down to little minute things. When we did the benefit tournament for Beasley, you guys heard me talk about the other day when we were talking about doing the Hammons Digital. That was a digital tournament. Guys knew it was a digital tournament. Guys knew they had to download the app. And then guys come up, they show up with a flip phone, and they can't get the app to work, or they don't know how to download the app, or they didn't. And then you're out there fishing. I know Ryan dealt with it too. Then your phone's ringing the whole time because people didn't know the rules or didn't know how to do it. And that happens to them. That's just like, there's no way. I would not want to do that. Let me see. Let me read your comment, Fred, because I think you're still talking about that up there, about that. You get that, just doesn't make sense to anyone, but what their viewing numbers are. Listen, I mean, I don't know. I will say this, that the way they calculate views on a TV show is different the way YouTube calculates views. Like when you see a Nielsen rating and they say the Super Bowl over, 62 billion people watched the Super Bowl this past Sunday. Sounds like a lot. 62 billion people of that, 58 billion probably scrolled by the channel and went, what's that? Watched it for 3 seconds and then clicked off and went on down the line. But they count it as a view because it sounds good, right? Same thing, like I keep telling you guys with these YouTube channels, just because they got 100,000 subscribers does not mean their analytics are good. You got 100,000 and you got an actual participation rate of 1% or less than 1%. The 100,000 looks really good, but the actual reality is a lot of people they don't pay attention to it. I've been invited to fish the Toyota Invitationals once again, but I've really got to see where my advantage is on scheduling. Yes, I'm the Oklahoma Todd Castledine, but no apologies. Hey, listen, I like Todd Castledine. I like watching his stuff. Brett, fishermen are classic at last minute preparing people, no doubt. Good Lord. Good Lord. The button on the iPhone makes me feel old and I'm 26. Well, guys, let's take up a collection. And you guys can buy me a up-to-date. I want the 17 Pro so I can do some video work with it. I'm going to get one soon. But listen, when I did construction, I'd go through an iPhone every 6 months. This is the longest-running iPhone I've ever had. And I didn't get it. A buddy of mine had it because I busted the screen on one right before I started here at Fish North, Georgia. And he goes, here, I got one. I took it. And so I've had this phone for 5 years now. And I just haven't, but the screen is actually starting to bust finally. It's actually there. Man, Todd is like watching paint dry. I didn't say it was the most exciting thing, but I do like some of his takes. Let's rephrase that. Todd is one of the few that can actually make money fishing tournaments. Yeah. To the non-fishing MFers running the top bass fishing organization, executives should use their resources available. Lots of knowledge in the game to not be better as far as the ins and outs of derb fishing. Jason Bryant fishing. Can't argue with that, man. Danny, the 16 Pro Max is pretty dang good and they're cheaper now. I might do that. I just need a new one. Patricia said you can't watch Castledine. Yeah, I got the old spider web screen going. I do type through it for sure. Castledine can talk for 30 minutes and tell you absolutely nothing. I love it. Todd is a good dude. I don't dislike Todd, but the cadence of the way he talks makes me not be able to watch him. I'll be honest with you, and this is going to be heresy, but we all have those people we can listen to, right? We all have people that we can listen to. He is probably one of the best that's ever done it, but I really couldn't listen to Zona. Had nothing to do with his knowledge or his personality or whatever. Just, I don't know, like his voice just was that one thing. It was almost like a texture thing when you eat certain things. I never really got into Zona. But I know I know he is what he is. There's no doubt. And he has earned what he is and the reputation and all that. I just never could get into Zona. It's kind of like I love Van Halen. I never could get into AC/DC. Just couldn't get into it. Great band. One of the best of all times. I just never was a fan. The importance of followers on social media is going down. It's all about interest and content marketing. A person with 10 followers can get more views than someone with 100,000, for sure. 100%. Castledine talks the way his brain works, so it takes him 15 minutes to get a point across. Paul B., that's not nice. That's not nice. Castledine has great info, but I can agree his videos can be drawn out. I like what he says. He does have that slow, I get it. I feel the same way about Zona on some of the stuff. Just the voice and the way it's our personalities, right? Hate to say it, but I can't listen to Rick Clunn. He put me to sleep at St. John's this year. Yeah, I see that too. Snobbery. Okay, Snobbery, says Atlanta Outdoors. Snobbery is the number one thing that turns me off of anyone making content. Once I see a superiority complex, I'm out. That is the problem. That is a problem that you're going to face for sure. But I have experienced. I'll tell you this way, and I won't tell you what they were recording. But I had two gentlemen in here one day that wanted to use our equipment to record something. I shut the store down. I sat over there at my desk right there, and I was silent. Set all this up for them. They got to talking, and the guy that was sitting in the chair, he said, "Well, my services really ain't, but for a certain clientele, and most people, you know." However he said it, basically, you guys know how I feel when somebody makes fun of the common man. Okay, well, I lost my shit on him, and I promptly refused to let them record in here anymore. Don't be no superiority thing. I don't do it. Give me Van Halen over AC/DC anyway. Rock on, absolutely. But still, AC/DC is one of the best bands that's ever existed. It's not for me. No more Zona, please. The series Todd does, there's a lot of good info in them, and no one does YouTube fishing line or fishing like he does. That's what I'm saying. He's got some good stuff. I'm not trying to be nice about it. What I mean by that is the way my brain works is while I'm talking. I got to say, okay, let me say that. I'm not trying to be not nice about it. What I mean by that is the way my brain works is while I'm talking. I'm thinking of three other things. I'm just trying not to say them out loud. Okay, I got what you're saying. I'm just trying not to say that. Parker, any idea what they're biting on Lanier? Topwater. Can't we go with that? Right now, from what I hear, everything you throw right now is working on Lanier. I'm not lying. Honestly, that's one thing. It's funny how Luke Duncan picks at Todd C. Yeah, I get it. Danny, me and Castle have been friends since around 2002. He is 10 times smarter than he lets on. I promise you, he dumbs it down himself tenfold. I know another individual that does that. I'm not quite as dumb as you guys think I am. But no, I get it. But listen, I like Todd. I've commented on that, and he's commented back a few times. You got to get stoned. Oh, good grief. You got to get stoned and sit in a teepee to listen to Clun. I've heard some stories, Jeremy. I've heard some stories. Castledine has been drinking the muscadine. The jig bite's good too right now, Parker. Right that. Anyway, all right, guys. But yeah, Tyler, I did. I don't, at least around me, you're not going to be snobbery. There's no snobbery. No snobbery going on here at FNGO. I won't stand for it. Now, if you don't want to drink a Pabst Blue Ribbon and you prefer an IPA, that's one thing. Okay? You too good to eat Pickles pig feet or something like that? I let that slide. Only dip Copenhagen, but you won't touch that wolf or whatever? 100%. Chili cheese burritos tonight. Yeah, man, I tell you what, I'd love a chili cheese burrito right now. Now, on Thursday nights, Kevin feeds us. Well, Father Time does. Speaking of which, guys, listen, I want you guys to come back tonight. Crankbaits. We're going to try to keep it on crankbaits tonight. And tonight I will be paying attention to what the guys say because I have one crankbait, and I'll talk about, the rock crawler. That's the only thing I ever put on that I have confidence in. And I know there's other options, but the rock crawler to me is the best one ever. I love it. I could throw it. But you start talking other things, and especially going into the fall and winter and all that, we're going to talk about all that. I don't have the confidence in a lot of them. So with that, we're going to let it go. You guys come back tonight at 8. When you stood up for all of us poor, quotation, P-O-U-R people, you gained a lot of respect for a lot of us, guaranteed. Well, listen. This show is designed, and our channel is designed for the average guy, right? That's all we are. We get guests that are really good that can talk about the things, but at the end of the day, we want you guys to catch more fish, have fun, enjoy the time while you're out there. And that's why you guys come back every day. And the good thing is, listen, there are some people in here that do very well for themselves in life. And then there are people in here that struggle a little bit. I don't differentiate. Not going to. I actually went to a Rick Clunn fishing school in 2005. I thought he was Native American. Uh, I didn't have shit on what I experienced. Danny Whopper Plopper is not a crankbait. Hey, we ain't talking about that crap tonight either. We're going subsurface tonight. I'm a Copenhagen guy myself. Don't try to slip me any red seal, any of that crappy stuff. I tell you what, I'm a Copenhagen guy, long cut. The only thing that I will do just to change it up every once in a while is I'll go wintergreen, and then I will go because my store here was out of it this morning. Grizzly extra long cut natural, and I'm not exactly happy right now. But I'll get a can here in a little bit. Anyway, it was poor Atlanta. I started to comment, but I just let Danny handle it. Listen, I will. Todd just did a good show on Mercer. Yeah. No, we're not talking weight baits tonight, Jeremy. See, you know what? Let me tell you something else. You know why else I love you guys and I love this show? It's because you guys are comfortable. There was a gentleman in here, and I hope he's watching today, that yesterday made a comment that I thought was funny. I thought it was funny as hell. Last night, he sent me a messenger about 22 inches long, apologizing to me because he thought he might have upset me with the thing. No. I said, that's not the way we work here. I like it when you guys rag on me a little bit because I'm going to rag on you, and that's the way it is, right? Can I crank the Hellraiser? No. Tony says, I dip so much during the day, I'd be broke on Copenhagen. Lipsticker's got him three big ones right now. It has gone up. It has gone up. Now, if I'm hunting or fishing, you guys want to talk dip for a second? Let's talk it. I switched from Copenhagen to Grizzly years ago, and now I switched to Cougar. Paul B. Ugh. Bad Company says the watermelon red Nico working well on there right now. Grizzly wintergreen myself. Paul B says fine cut natural only. Tony says I'm a Longhorn guy. Big Tubs. Dane said I learned more from Farmer about crankbait fishing than anyone or any video I've ever watched. And Farmer will be here tonight. Jason Bryant says, first time commenting on here. Ran across this podcast the other day looking for Ultimate Angler Championship. I'll be a repeat offender. Dude, come on. Now listen, though. The main one is Tuesday and Thursday nights, 8 o'clock Eastern time. I don't know where you're from. Eastern time. That's where we get the guests in. The one we do during the middle of the day, that's just me and you guys. So the smart people will be here tonight, right? That's what I like to say, the smart people. That's why I called you out on your O-ring. Danny is a mulch man, none of them fairy pouches. Listen, I am a snob when it comes to dip. And I will tell you, this is how I do. I take every tournament I go to, I take 2 cans of Copenhagen. I take long cut, and then I take wintergreen. And if I fish for a little bit and I'm not getting bit on the long cut, my next one will be wintergreen. And if I get bit on wintergreen, it will stay wintergreen until I go back to long cut. And I have been known in an 8-hour tournament to go through 2 cans of dip. Just one of them days, right? The Zens got me off wintergreen in college. Then I quit Zens too. Well, you're a quitter. I love you, Coleman. Why do I want to buy my first Hellraiser to say I tried it out? Listen, guys, look. It's the single ugliest thing that I think you could have in your tackle box. There are people that can catch fish on it. There's no doubt about it. But this right here is a product in my mind that is designed to catch anglers more so than fish. That's just my opinion. I'm just Danny. Doc says, good for you, Coleman. That's Doc's back way of getting on to me. All right. You guys talk about that. So anyway, hey, listen, we'll do that. Chatterbait, wake bait looking thing. It is, but it's like, I just think there's better options. I'm sure it's a good bait. Joe Mateer for Heisman, period. No. Listen, I love you, Far Dog, but you're the only damn thing in Oklahoma I like or that I'm going to root for. The only thing. The only thing right now. You got to change my mind. But he is a hell of a ball player. He is. All right, guys, so I'm going to go to work. Now, 8 o'clock tonight. Seriously, here's what we're going to do. I'll have Tony's going to be up here running the boards. Alex will be up here. Jonathan Farmer is going to be up here. Father Time's going to be up here. If you guys are in the area, you're always welcome to come hang out during the show. But we are. I want you to bring your crankbait questions and your suggestions. Brian Cannon, good old man's jelly worms. I thought Danny, Oklahoma is the best. Far dog. No, I'm gonna leave it at that because we're friends right now, and then on this show we can agree to disagree, right? On this show we can agree to disagree, and we can do it in a respectful and a loving manner. But there ain't no way. There's no way in the world that you will ever convince me that Oklahoma is the best at anything. Anything. What are you known for? What is Oklahoma known for? I mean, I'm a serious question. Outside of being close to Texas and the Sooners, because Oklahoma State sucks. What are you guys known for? And I'm just playing. Can we get KVD on the show? He is the ultimate crankbait dude out there for sure. I've seen KVD 2 times at ICAST and everything. I stood beside him in the lunch. I mean, like we're like shoulder to shoulder in the lunch line, and people won't leave his ass alone. And I looked at him. I felt sorry for him. And he looked at me, and I just gave him a head nod. And then I saw him at Red Crest, and I just, tornadoes. Okay, yeah, okay, never mind. Oklahoma is really good at tornadoes. Jeremy said that too. KVD, I've never talked to him. I've stood right beside him. I just leave him be, man. Because can you imagine? Can you imagine being KVD, walking around anywhere where there's a bunch of damn redneck anglers out there? I'll try to get him on the show. We'll see, but casinos and tornadoes. And then Jason Bryant says, "Steers and Purse." You know what he's saying? He must, yeah. That's what the Texans say about you guys. South Dakota is a sleeper state for tornadoes. Cocaine and Barry Switzer. Yeah, I've already paused TikTok, so I can say cocaine now. Wind. See, these are not things though that one wants to take. We don't want to ascend to that. Toby Keith or Blake Shelton, maybe Miranda Lambert. You know what? Sad thing. When we were filming the Real American Road Trip in Michigan, the guy that owned the bar was in the hunting club that Toby Keith was in. Toby Keith hunted with him, and we were actually trying to set up a hunt for me to go hunt with Toby Keith. And then Toby got sick. That's one of them things in life that could have happened that didn't. Jackie going to get some native when he's in Oklahoma, it sounds. And, of course, Aaron comes in with his financial thing, oil reserves. Yeah, for sure. I'm just playing with you. I love you. I love you, Far Dog. You're a good dude. I appreciate you showing up every time we turn these things on. But come tonight. Bring your crankbait questions, comments, all that stuff. And we'll try to learn something together. I'm going to talk rock crawlers. It's the only thing I'm qualified to talk about. But Farmer's really damn good when it comes to a crankbait. And I've seen it firsthand. And again, we're going to talk about late fall going into the winter, right? And a lot of you guys fish a lot of different lakes than what we got here. I'm sure the crankbaits that Far Dog throws is going to be different than I will throw. That would have been a trip of a lifetime. Old Lucky Strike. Yeah. Okay, Captain Jade, real quick before I get out, I do have a Toby Keith story. And I've said it on here before. And I kind of like Toby Keith, but I'm like, to me, country music's Hank Williams Jr., and then everything else kind of sucks. But I do like Toby Keith a little bit. Van Halen, Toby Keith, I've said this before. Van Halen and Toby Keith were coming into town. Their concerts were 3 days apart. I wanted to go to Van Halen. My wife wanted to go to Toby Keith. We made a deal. We would get tickets for both. I got lucky. I got 6-row Van Halen floor seats right there. And then Toby Keith's concert, we had front row. We got front row Toby Keith concerts. Just to the right of the stage a little bit. Main stage, dead center, but just to the right a little bit. I really didn't want to go see Toby Keith, but I had to because my wife really didn't want to go see Van Halen, and she had to. So just to protest a little bit, I wore my Van Halen shirt to the Toby Keith concert, and Toby Keith was singing. He came over there, and he looked right at me, and I mean, we connected eyes, man. Me and Toby Keith did. He looked right at me. stuck his finger at me and gave me a thumbs up. He was pointing at my shirt. And so from that moment on, I was kind of a fan of Toby Keith. I liked him. I did. My wife to this day says that he was pointing at her, saying, "Hey, you got a good-looking wife," and all that, and I do. But he was pointing at my Van Halen shirt. Okay, so Far Dog, that's something we could talk about tonight. Original Wiggle Warts in Oklahoma versus Rock Crawlers. Perfect conversation. KVD was doing a video out of the local lake near me last year, doing a mossback habitat video. That guy is smart about fishing. I just sat back and listened, made me feel dumb, and I'm an engineer. So hell, I'd have felt like a damn snail or a slug. He's a nice dude. The times I've seen him, I just haven't messed with him. So anyway, you guys be good. If you're in the area, come watch the show live tonight. But you guys come back at 8, and we'll have some fun. We'll absolutely have some fun. And a DT10 is better than a rock crawler. I don't think so, Jeremy, but we'll talk about it tonight, all right? So you guys be good. I'll see you in a few hours. Come see me if you're in the area. And don't work too hard the rest of the day. So let me hit this final button. I'm out here. Y'all guys be good. We'll see you.